Hi, I'm really glad to meet you here. I'm Xiaoyu and I am a year two student majoring in counseling program, which is under Faculty of Education, University Malaya. So could you please let me know the information about you? Hi, Xiaoyu. My name is Lily. Um, I'm a PhD student majoring in language and linguistics, University of Malaya. Hi, Lily. So really nice to meet you. Before we begin, how are you feeling today? I feel okay. Recently, I feel a little bit tired with my work and my cases. Still okay. Thank you for coming here today, even you feel a little bit tired or busy. So may I know if you had the experience that about drawing counseling session before? Yes, I have done consulting before, but it's my first time doing career consulting, so I'm a little curious. That's great to know, and thank you for being here today. Career counseling is a bit different from personal or emotional counseling session, so I will walk you through how it works in just a moment. Okay, so firstly, to help us both feel comfortable, I'd like to explain a few things before we begin. Okay. So, career counseling is a process where we work together to explore your career-related concerns, such as goals, values, work experiences, personal strengths, and possible paths. So my role is to support you to make your own decision, not to make this, not to decide for you. That makes sense. I think that's what I need right now. So for our duration, each session usually lasts around the 45 minutes. Today's session will follow that time frame. Okay. So about the role of counselor and client, my role is to ask questions that help you reflect and clarify your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences. So your role is to share whatever feels important to you and to be honest with your thoughts and reactions. So we are working as a team. There's no pressure to perform. That sounds good. I think that is collaboration. For the ethical issues, normally everything you share here is confidential. That's part of our ethical commitment. However, as I asked you before, because this is my assignment, so maybe I need to record our session and record the video for our session for my supervisor to give me instruction and adjustment. So do you agree with this? Yes, I agree with this, and I just don't want to show my face. Yeah, it's okay. If you always feel free to post or stop if you feel ever uncomfortable during the session. Okay. So before we start the session, I asked you to do a pre-session interview intake. You mentioned that you are deciding between China and Thailand for work after graduation. Can you tell me more about your thoughts and feelings around this? Mhm. Yes, I can tell. I love Thailand. I lived there for a few years and I feel really free. But my parents are in China, so they want me to come back and work at the university in China. I also love teaching and the Chinese literature, but I think the pressure and the competition in China are quite high. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Lily. It sounds like you are carrying a lot of thoughts about your future directions. Yes. So let's take a step back. What was it about working in Thailand that made it feel so comfortable for you? I think it was the environment, maybe. It was relaxed. I was working in a private international school teaching Chinese. The pay wasn't very high, but the work atmosphere was nice, and I liked the culture.
I had a good lifestyle in Bangkok, enough space to breathe.
Okay, so I want to clarify with you that the working environment and lifestyle both contribute to a sense of balance and ease.
Yes, that's right. It felt like a good balance between work and life, and I wasn't constantly stressed.
So I wonder that when you think about going back to China, what thoughts or emotions come up in your mind?
It's how to say it's complicated. My parents really want me to return. They hope I will become a university teacher near home. It's stable, and I also love teaching and literature, but the job market is very competitive in China, and the salary is not great. There is also a lot of pressure, evaluations, research output. Um, Moreover, I think this is only the best case currently. The job competition pressure in China is too great. My personal resume is not particularly outstanding either. I think I might not even be able to find a job as a university teacher. It could only be a middle school or primary school teacher, maybe. Although it is not that difficult to find a job that matches one's major, but it is still quite challenging to get into a university.
So that uncertainty that work in China may add some pressure and image.
Yes. And the workload in China, especially in schools, can be intense. There's less freedom, more paperwork and expectations.
So in a way, the job fits your academic path and your parents' expectations, but it comes with high stress, and lower financial rewards compared to Thailand. So you are confused about this.
Exactly. I feel like I'm being caught between two lives, one where I stay true to myself and the one where I stay close to my roots and meet their expectations.
That sounds very emotionally tired. So if we could remove all outside expectations for a moment, just focus on your inner voice, what would you choose? Do you want to choose work in Thailand or in China?
I would probably go back to Thailand. I just feel more at ease there, but I would also feel guilty because my parents are getting older and I know they hope I will be around.
So you said that you were juggling personal desires and family responsibilities. I think it's a real emotional conflict. So could you please tell me more about that guilt? When is it strongest?
Strongest. I think it's strongest when I imagine my parents growing older while I'm far away. I do have a younger sister which is living nearby them now, but I still feel like I should be closer to.
So even though your sister is nearby, there is also a part of you that feels you also carry responsibilities to your parents.
Yes, I'm the eldest. They invested so much in my education. I feel like I owe them some stability and presence.
It sounds like your role as a daughter is deeply rooted, Lily. So at the same time, you have also developed a strong identity as an educator and independent adult. You just mentioned that being in Thailand felt like you could truly be yourself. No acting, no pretending. That sounds important. Can you share more about how that sense of freedom shows up in daily life with dear?
Hmm. Well, for example, I could dress however I feel like. No one really judged. My coworkers were chill. We would grab street food after work and talk about life, not just work stuff. In class, I had a lot of freedom to decide how I want to teach. Um, and I didn't have to worry about whether it fits what the leadership wanted. I just felt comfortable, no pressure. I would end each day thinking, if I taught one good lesson today, I'm good.
So it sounds like you were living with ease and self-trust, like you had room to be creative and to truly be yourself.
Yes, exactly. It didn't even feel like work. It felt like I was doing something I loved and just happened to get paid for it. I'm not the type always thinking about the promotions or trying to stand out. I just want a bit of growth each day and steady life. And the feeling is rare, especially for someone like me who grew up always trying to be the best.
So can I clarify with you that Thailand gave you a break from always being improve myself mode? That sounds like a huge relief.
Yeah, totally. Because I always feel like it's either achieve or you are not enough. But there, no one was pushing me. No one was comparing me to anyone else. I started to realize I don't have to get everything right. It's okay to slow down. Even to mess up something sometimes. Mm, That permission to not be perfect was new for me and to be honest, kind of healing.
That's beautiful, Lily. So let's pause here. You said healing. I'm curious, what part of you needed healing the most?
Uh, Probably the part of me that always thought I wasn't good enough. My family had really high standards growing up. Like, even if I scored 90, I would be asked, why not 100? I learned to hide my feelings and just push forward. But I'm not a machine, you know. In Thailand, I started doing yoga and meditation, and that helped me realize, oh, I need to pause, check in with myself, ask if I'm tired, not just push forward all the time.
Thank you for sharing that, Lily. It's like you finally give yourself space to be human, to be truly yourself, not just like performer.
Yeah, I used to think I could only deliver results, not have feelings. But in that slower pace abroad, really realized I do have emotions around choices. I'm not just someone who has to hustle all the time. And honestly, I don't want to go back to that version of me.
Um, that's really powerful. So you have described who you become in Thailand, more calm, more balanced, and more honest. I'm wondering if you did go back to China, what are you most afraid you'd lose?
What I'm most afraid of losing, I think maybe it's losing the version of me who could slow down and actually listen to herself. Pace in China is so fast. The pressure is intense, and I know I would fall right back into old patterns, suppressing feelings, trying to meet expectations. I will become the person again who smiles on the outside, but it's really dry inside, and no one would even notice.
That image feels very heavy. So maybe this choice is not just about a job or a location, it's also about what kind of version of you gets to live.
Uh, yeah, exactly. I don't want the tired but enduring version of me to come back. I want to stay the lily who smiles from the heart, who can say no, who feels safe expressing what she is. If a job turns me into a machine, then I would rather earn less and stay back.
So sounds like emotional safety is really essential to you and not just physical comfort. You mainly focus on your mental feelings. So when you think about the future, what kind of emotional environment do you hope to job will give you?
I hope it's a place where I can be honest, where I don't have to put on a mask, where I can say, "Oh, I'm tired today," or "I need help," without being seen as weak. I would love a team that supports each other, not one that constantly comparing emotions. I don't need price. I just want to feel seen, heard, and respected.
That sense of being seen seems to matter a lot. When in your career, did you feel most seen for who you are, not just what you did?
I remember when our school got a new head, everyone was nervous, but he came to me and said, "I really your curriculum plan. I would love to hear what inspired it." I was honestly touched. He didn't just ask for results. He wanted to understand my thinking. In that moment, I thought, wow, I'm not just being used, I'm being valued for who I am as a professional teacher.
That sounds like a turning point moment. How did that influence how you saw yourself and work afterward?
After I started to speak as to speak up more, I wasn't always trying to please others. I also feel more motivated to help my colleagues because I feel trusted. I became more proactive, adjusting lessons, trying new methods. That thing of my voice matters gave me so much strength.
Mm, So let's bring that image back to your decision now. So, which environment do you think will give you more of that feelings, Thailand or China?
Honestly, it's Thailand. Most schools in China still emphasize obedience, meeting measures, and doing as whole. Especially as a newcomer, you don't really get a voice. I'm only working hard, but what scares me is becoming silent again in a space that doesn't let me speak.
You just said something really powerful. You are not afraid to work hard, but you are afraid to go silent. That is deep.
Yeah, because I know when I go silent, I also go numb. I had a days like that before we could look, I'll say look fine on the outside, but feel frozen inside. I don't want to go back to that. That's not living, that's just information.
So earlier you mentioned China's work pressure. I just want to clarify with you. Have you actually worked in a school in China before, or was it just your impression?
Yeah, I have had a short-term teaching gig, kind of like an internship in a top middle school. The pace was super fast. Teachers were always preparing lessons, grading, setting long meetings. I remember one night, it was like 9 p.m. and we were still sitting through a a meeting, talk about session for someone's public demo class. I was completely zoned out, but had to pretend I was taking notes.
Sounds exhausting. So what was going through your mind during that time?
I kept asking myself, is this really the life I want? It's not that I hate, it's not that I hate teaching, but I hate that trend. So survival mode feeling. The students were stressed and the teachers even more. I couldn't tell if I was teaching or just hitting KPIs.
Sounds like you felt more like a performer than a teacher.
Exactly. I went in hoping to be a soulful teacher, but all I could focus on was don't mess up, follow the checklist. After a while, I started feeling the follow.
So do you think this experience made you have some worries about Chinese education system?
Oh, definitely. I know not all schools are like that, but in the public system, especially middle and high schools, the culture is just intense. Teachers even joke if you are not staying late, you are not doing it right. That kind of context is suffocates me.
I hear you. So how do you feel about teaching at a university level in China? Is that different in your mind? Because I heard that you mentioned many times that if you choose to go back to China, you really want to be a university teacher or professor.
Yeah, to me, being a university lecturer or professor is kind of dream. There is more freedom in the curriculum. You get to guide research students, and it feels more elegant with my academic background. I mean, I'm doing a PhD now, and it feels like a natural path. Plus, my parents have always seen that as a respectful job.
So it's not that you don't want to work in China, it's just that the role has to match your expectations and values.
Yes, that's exactly it. I'm not against the returning to China. It's just that I don't want to settle. I couldn't see myself as a primary school teacher only in some admin position, not because I look down on them, but because I would waste all the training and passion I have invested.
So if you couldn't get a university position in China right away, would you be willing to take a middle ground, maybe temporarily to be a teacher in the middle school or primary school in China? Do you accept this?
To be honest, I'm not that young anymore, and if I take a role way below my qualifications, I will feel disappointed in myself, but I might be willing to give it a try. After all the professional competition in China is so various that I may not be able to find a job that satisfies.
So sounds like you are not totally into taking a lower level job, but you are also realistic. So if you had to take one temporarily, what would matter most to you?
Um, I would probably look at the school work first. If the coworkers are nice and the boss isn't too controlling, I might be okay with it. Also, don't give me tons of useless paperwork. Like if it's all about reports and ticking boxes, I would hate that.
It sounds like you really don't like jobs that are just about going through the motions.
Yeah, I can't stand that. Sometimes that kind of work is even more tiring than teaching, but it feels pointless. I'll be honest, rather teach more classes than sit around the office just clocking hours.
So if you really ended up in a job like that, what kind of support would help you to get through it?
I think I would need friends I can run to. And I would call some space for myself, like time to write or keep looking for better opportunities. I don't want to get stuck in that kind of job with no way out.
So let's go back to your parents for a second. When they say they hope you come back and work in China, what kind of life do you think they picture for you?
I think what they want is something like close to home, stable job with benefits, summer and winter breaks, a house. Misha, they always say, you need to settle down. In their mind, being a university teacher is respectable, easy to have dinner at home, get married, have kids later, or short it.
So for them, it's not just about your career, it's a whole picture of your future life. They make the decision or plan their future for a whole picture.
Yeah. For the working in China is it's time to coming home and settle down. Being near them, having a house, a stable job, that's their version of success. They don't really get why I feel comfortable living abroad.
That sounds like a pretty strong pull. When they bring that up, how does it make you feel?
Ah, a mix of frustration and guilt. Sometimes I know they mean well, but I just hate being told how to live. I want to push back, but I can't bring myself to hurt them. Especially now that they are older, I don't want to disappoint them.
So it sounds like you are stuck between being a daughter and being your own person.
Yes, I feel like I have been playing the role of the good doctor for so long. I'm not even sure the real me is still there.
When you are in Thailand, do you feel more like Lily the person or instead of Lily the daughter?
Yeah, I feel more like myself. I don't have to explain why I didn't reply to messages or why I don't want to go somewhere on the weekend. I can just make myself dinner, read, bike around. No one interrupts me. That kind of freedom, I can't find it back home.
So it's not just about liking Thailand. It's about who you get to be there.
Yes, there is kind of lightness there. I can finally breathe. I don't have to prove myself all the time. I don't have to say yes to everything. I can just say, I don't feel like talking today. And no one thinks that's weird.
You mentioned that you have been in Thailand for a few years, for working. So, do you ever hesitate about staying there for a long time?
Yes, sometimes I do. I love the pace of life there, but I know there's sadly not much room to move up, and the salaries don't grow the fast. And honestly, as I get older, I will need to think about things like retirement, healthcare. It's not as careful or carefree as it looks.
So, do you think it's the uncertainty in Thailand, like slower growth, that stresses you more, or is it the feelings that everything's already planned out if you go back to China?
Honestly, both makes me uneasy in different ways. Thailand might mean slower progress, and part of me wonders, well, I fall behind over time, but going back, yeah, I worry everything will be set by my parents, like I won't even go to breath. Sometimes I think maybe I'm being too picky, but I also don't want to pick something just to regret later.
It sounds like you have already been running through all kinds of what if in your mind. So what if you stay in Thailand? What if you go back to China? Do you sometimes feel like no matter which one you choose, you also feel like you are giving up something?
Yeah, totally. Staying in Thailand feels like I'm drifting further from home, like a cat without a string. But going back feels like squeezing myself into a box that doesn't quite fit. The option feels perfect, so I keep hesitating.
Um, I think that's a great way to put it, like a kite or like a bus. So, if you had to choose right now, what's the one thing that hate it hardest to let go?
Then it's freedom. Not the kind where nobody cares what you do, but the kind where I get to decide my pants and my left run. In Thailand, I feel like I can be myself, more relaxed. Back home, I worry everything will be scheduled, and I won't have room to press.
Um, I keep hearing you say words like freedom, peace, space, or room to breathe. Those keep showing up. When you talk about your ideal life, do you think this points to some core values that really matter to you?
Yeah, I guess they do. I really don't like living on someone else's timeline. And I don't want a life where I just follow what people say I should do. What matters to me is how I feel each day, not how successful I look to others.
You mentioned that you are doing a PhD right now, and to a lot of people, that sounds like a successful stage of life. But how do you say it? What stage of life do you feel like you are in?
I feel like I'm kind of at a turning point. Like after this phase ends, I have to decide where to get next. But the problem is, I'm not sure if I want to speed up or take a break. I feel like I'm standing at a crossroads and scared to choose one.
Your answer reminds me that life often feels like different roles pulling on you at the same time. You are a student, you are a teacher, you are a daughter, and just yourself. Right now, which role do you think is speaking the loudest in your current stage?
I think it's a daughter. Lately, I have been super sensitive to what my family says. One phone call, one comment, and I started questioning if I'm being selfish. Even when I have my own thoughts, there's that good daughter voice whispering, you should do what your parents want.
So you mentioned that your role as a daughter weighs heavily on your decision. How about your role as an individual? What are some needs or values that you feel important to honor for yourself right now?
Freedom and to be real. I want to live in a way that feels true to who I am, not always fitting into the mold others expect.
That makes a lot of sense. Would you say you have had moments in your life where you lived according to those values?
Yes, when I lived in Thailand, I don't feel like I had to perform or prove anything. I was just me.
You described something very powerful there, being able to just be yourself. What are something that can help you feel most like yourself in daily lives?
Oh, I think teaching creatively, writing, talking to people from different cultures, even just have time to read.
And are those things still present for you now, or do they feel more distant?
Honestly, they feel distant. I have been so focused on finishing my PhD and dealing with family expectations, and I have lost touch with a lot of what makes me happy.
That must feel very difficult. Thank you for explaining that. It shows how much this matters to you. When you think about your next step, are you hoping more for like stability or for fulfillment or both?
Both. But if I had to choose, I think the word uh, fulfillment. I'm afraid of living simple but empty.
That's an important distinction. Would you be open to exploring what a fulfilling career might look like, regardless of location?
Yes, I would love that.
So let's try something together. Could you imagine a day in your ideal future where you are working, living, and feeling truly aligned with yourself? What does that day look like?
I wake up without an alarm. I prepare for class at the college school, maybe a small international school. I teach Chinese through stories. After class, I read or have coffee with friends. I call my parents in the evening.
That sounds like a beautiful image. So, when you picture that day, what emotions come up in your mind?
Calm, light, satisfied, like life makes sense.
So, I want to clarify with you, those feelings are very towering. So they gives you like a compass. In contrast, how does a day in your worst case scenario look like and feel?
I'm rushing between lectures in the university, overwhelmed with admin tasks, trying to publish but feeling, feeling cannot breath. I come home too tired to comment.
That sounds really exhausting. So if we put the two images together and compare it, I wonder what is your the extreme feelings about that comparison.
One is alive, the other one is surviving.
That's a pretty fun way to put it. So, what would it mean for you to choose aliveness? even with the guilt and uncertainty involved.
It would mean I finally trust myself. And maybe I start to believe I deserve a life that fits me.
I think that's powerful, Lily. You are not only navigating career issues, but also self-worth and identity. How do you really cope when you feel emotionally torn like this?
And sometimes I write diaries. I talk to friends, but I didn't often open up to my parents about these things.
That makes sense. You are seeking ways to process it on your own while protecting them from worry.
Yes, exactly. I think I have always been the strong one in.
And every strong people need to be seen and supported. You have done so much today. You have like summarized your emotional work today. So, um, from what I hear, the core of your struggle isn't simply about location, it's about the tension between personal fulfillment and family obligation.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
There is a theory that about career development that I think is suitable for your situation, which is called super lifespan life space theory. It talks about this how we play multiple life roles over time, like daughter, worker, citizen, and friend. At certain stages, these roles may come into conflict, and part of career counseling is learning to manage and prioritize them.
That explains exactly what I'm going through.
Like I mentioned before, super life theory also suggests that these roles evolve over time. There might be times when your daughter roles is more central and times when your educator or self-care roles takes the lead. Balancing doesn't mean eliminating one, it means finding one that is suitable for your current stage.
Never thought of it that way. That makes me feel a bit more hopeful.
So if we look forward, say 5 or 10 years from now, what kind of life you imagine would make you feel both peaceful and fulfilled?
I think it would be in a place where I enjoy the lifestyle, feel emotionally healthy, and still contribute meaningfully through my work.
That's a wonderful long-term version. So we can work together to explore how to move toward that goal, maybe step by step. So, Lily, you have shared a lot about what's matter to you, peace, meaning, and the balance between self and family. Now, now that we have clarified your inner conflict, would you be open to exploring a few possible directions together?
Sure, I don't know if I can find the perfect solution, but I'm willing to look.
Let's start with this question. What if you did return to China? How likely is it that you could get a university teaching job?
Actually, not very high. There is a lot of competition. Even with a PhD degree, many universities want applications in top journals. It's possible I would end up teaching in a high school or even a primary school.
So I want to clarify with you, how do you feel about that possibility?
I think I would feel disappointed, not because teaching younger students is bad, but because it wouldn't align with the academic path I have worked so hard for.
That makes sense. I really understand because you have invested many years into developing yourself as a scholar and educator at higher level. Um, may I ask what role does your younger sister play in your family?
She lives nearest my parents. She's working nearby, and she's more available than I am. But I think my parents still hope I will be the one to settle down nearby too. Maybe because I'm the older one, or because I have always been the more obedient one.
It sounds like there's a family expectation for you to fulfill a certain role even though your sister is physically present.
Exactly.
Super's theory includes the concept of lab space, which highlights the many roles we take on in different lab areas. When those roles feel imbalanced, we will internal pressure, but roles can be shared. They don't have to fall on one person alone.
I never thought that maybe I don't have to carry it all by myself.
Exactly. So maybe we can explore a few options that allow you to honor your family values without giving up on your own peace or professional goals. So I have listed a few passes that we could talk about together. The first one is short-term compromise. It's about return to China and work for 1 or 2 years in an education role while applying for better opportunities like your ideal job, the professor in higher education, and staying close to your parents for now. And the second one is Thailand for first plan. Return to Thailand and look for teaching jobs or international programs. Meanwhile, coming to visit your parents frequently and maintaining regular contact. And the last one is mixed plan. Seek cross-border or remote teaching roles like online courses, like if you live in China, you can find some online courses job linked to Thailand. You can live in China but teaching Thailand students, or some international schools with branch campuses in China, like a Thailand school, like the original Thailand school, but they have the branch campus in China. So, or just you can find some jobs that allow you to work from Thailand while visiting China every few months.
Oh, I think option three sounds very new to me. I never thought this could be a middle ground.
So, Lily, among options we discussed, which one you feel the most workable right now, or do you have some new, you think the better or proper idea for you?
I think the third one, working remotely or in Thailand while staying in touch with my family, makes the most sense.
Super's theory says career development is lifelong and flexible. You are now working to balance your educator and daughter roles. So, what one small step you could take this week?
I will research teaching jobs online or in Thailand and make a simple list.
Great. So, what about communication with your parents?
I will talk to my mom first, just show that I'm looking for a way to balance both sides.
That sounds thoughtful. Maybe you might remind them your sister is nearby. That could easy to reduce their worries.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
I think you have done great today. If you would like, we can meet again to check with our progress.
Okay, I will like that.
Perfect. And please remember, your past doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to choose one that prepares for you. So we are coming to the end of our session. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, much better. I feel clear and not as down as before.
I'm glad to hear that. So let me briefly summarize what we explored today. You shared your struggle between staying in Thailand, which gives you peace, and returning to China, which fulfills family hopes, but bringing pressure and uncertainty about job quality. We discussed your important roles as a daughter, teacher, and independent adults, and how these roles sometimes conflict. Based on that, you consider the third path, a mixed option that allows you to work abroad but maintains a strong family ties. You plan to take two steps. The first one is researching flexible jobs options, and the second one is starting an open conversation with your mother. This shows you are actively designing a career path that respects both your values and emotional needs. So, would it be helpful to check in again to see how these things are going, both with job research and your conversation with your mom?
Yes, I would like that. I think I need the support to stay on track. Thanks for your help today.
You're welcome, Lily. Take care, and I look forward to hearing how things will progress.
Okay.